double high five. Ready?
Hi, everyone. I'm Eileen. I'm here with my colleague, Leo. And yeah, we're part of the voice team here at DeepL and excited to talk you through what has happened in the last 12 months and what's coming up with voice.
Well, first, before I joined the team not too long ago, February this year, and what I found is the team already put in place amazing technology that makes that real-time interpretation just possible across so many workflows, and that's nothing short of amazing so far.
Yeah, so let us start by talking you through what DeepL Voice is. DeepL Voice lets global businesses communicate and speak seamlessly in real time across languages.
Now, what it means, we need to meet you where you are, where you need to be in the moment. This means we need different application stacks to meet you there. Currently, we offer voice for meetings and voice for conversations. So you can have both virtual and face-to-face.
Yeah, so let's think about your last international meeting, perhaps. I think we all know it. Sometimes you have people there who can't quite follow the discussion, so there's delays, you have to repeat things, and sometimes you don't get critical input because the right people simply can't follow in the language that the meeting is being had in. So this is exactly what we built DeepL Voice for meetings for, so everyone can follow and speak in their own language.
Now, all those very important high-stake meetings, they don't always happen online, right? Many of those interactions are face-to-face, in person. So imagine that. You have your frontline workers across your supply chain. They have many interactions they need to have face-to-face. Or you have your in-shop assistant talking to your customers. Those are very important interactions that need to be had through language at the highest quality and at the highest stakes as well, right? So with DeepL Voice for conversations, you basically have in your pocket, in your mobile device, with DeepL app, a way to converse across your businesses globally, no matter where you need to be. Both DeepL Voice for meetings and conversations, we basically work on that highest quality, very low latency with captions, no matter where you need to be.
So yeah, for years, DeepL has built on text translations. And with the speech translation, we were going to do the same. We wanted to really be up there for the same quality. But it introduces a completely different set of languages. Sorry, not languages. A completely different set of challenges, right? So in real time, you have constant input that's evolving. So I speak, and you don't know what I'm going to say next. And so in languages like German, for example, it is really difficult to translate before the sentence actually finishes. So with that, you need to really optimize the user experience.
Yeah, so imagine that the team actually cracked that problem initially, where we have best-in-class technology to translation, transcriptions. But if you think about the user experience for a proper real-time, high-stakes conversation, it gets a bit more challenging. So think about a language like German, where you're going to have some verbs at the very end, and you actually need to wait the right amount of time to have a proper translation. This is very true for many other languages. Japanese it's even more complex in many ways. And what the team has really worked on is not only the baseline tech, but how do we make that perfect trade-off of velocity, quality, and stability? Once we deliver a translation, it's not going to change. And that's super important and actually very dear to our hearts because we believe the next frontier of voice and where the future is and the now is voice-to-voice. Having that super stable, very fast piece of tech enables us to get to that very next step now. So today, I'm very excited to share with you what we have in the lab and do a quick demo. I'm going to set it up in our computer over there.
But before we dive into that, I'm sure everyone's super excited to see this. Let's actually hear from someone who's experienced voice firsthand in their day-to-day business. Please join me in welcoming Jodi from aramark to the stage. Jodi coming. Thank you. Hi, Jodi. Let's sit down. Thank you so much for being here, Jodi.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. It's nice to
So-
see so many people.
It is. Well, we're very happy you're here. Would you start by just introducing yourself to the audience and
Sure.
give a little overview of what aramark does?
All right, so I probably have one of the longest titles that most people have seen. So I'm the Vice President, Strategy and Development within aramark's Global Supply Chain and Group Purchasing Organizations. That's a mouthful. I'll try and demystify that a little bit. So many of you are probably familiar with aramark. If you've been to a stadium recently, maybe some of your corporations use us as for corporate cafeterias, business dining, and some other applications as well. So that's part of the business. The other piece is the group purchasing side, which is led by Avendra International, which focuses on supply chain for the hospitality industry. So hotels, that's kind of in our DNA.
That's exciting, and I actually read that you have a contract with the Olympia Stadium in Berlin here as well.
You
so
are correct.
local. Perfect. So I think we can all guess that you are using voice, right? But let's maybe go to a time before you started using voice and before you started looking for a solution. What did global collaboration look like?
So on the Avendra International side, we are in a period of growth. Our past has been predominantly North America. And now we're North America and a bit in Europe, and now we're expanding in Europe and in Asia and in South America. So we very quickly realized there are certain countries where, as Americans, most of us speak one language, some two, I'm probably at 1.5. And I was working with people in China as one example. And very quickly we realized most of them didn't have English that was strong enough. I have about 1 or 2 words of Mandarin, so we had a big gap and knew something had to change.
And then you had like a lot of bilingual staff who just had to jump in, or how did it?
No, we had one consultant who's from a supply chain firm that we had engaged with to help us just from a bandwidth perspective. She happened to be fully bilingual, and so we were asking her to translate, learn our business, and our business is a complex one, as most are, but there's some complexities, and we were building something new. So imagine building something new, having trouble communicating, and relying on one person who was brought in who doesn't know any of this.
That seems like quite a challenge. So what was the moment that you realized something had to change?
So we were sitting on a call, and we were having one of our leaders in China doing a systems demonstration. And I had heard fabulous things about her, that she's an expert in what she does. She happens not to speak a word of English. Hello is about as far as it goes. And so we're watching this demonstration, and somebody's translating, and this is going on. I'm a morning person. This is going on late at night because there's a 13-hour time difference right now with Shanghai. And we're sitting there, and it's painful. She's excited to show us what she's built and what she's doing, and we want to be excited, but we're waiting for someone to tell us what we're looking at. And so we knew something had to change.
Something had to change. So when you were actually looking at solutions, what was the most important thing for you?
So there were a couple of things. First, the translation had to be accurate. Let's start with that. It had to be timely. You know, if we were having a conversation and working sessions, these were internal working sessions as our primary use case right now. And so, you're having quick discussions. It's not presentation style. And so that was really important. And we wanted to make sure that we had the right languages, which we have most of, which is great.
And I believe you had to go through a pretty rigorous process in your company as well.
We did. At aramark, any new technology has to go through an architectural review board within IT, and there's also an AI review board. And so that took some time, but it went through quite easily.
Wonderful. So could you actually walk us through what it looks like today with DeepL Voice? Like, how has it changed?
We are far more efficient. Meetings that we used to have to schedule, you'd think, oh, it's a 60-minute meeting. Well, no, let's make it 90 or 120 to allow for the translation time. And now we're back to a 60-minute meeting, should be a 60-minute meeting. And this woman who was doing the systems demonstration, she was so excited. The first time she tried DeepL, you could see her glued to her computer screen, just watching what was happening, and we'd ask a question, and she would immediately respond in Mandarin. We were now having an inclusive conversation, and everybody was able to be themselves at work and use the language that worked best for them.
That's fantastic. So just looking ahead a little bit, knowing that there's a lot of international expansion going on at aramark, how do you see this growing further?
As we know, as any company growing into new markets, there are lots of barriers, lots of hurdles, and being able to reduce the language one is really key. As we're looking, there's a couple of new markets that I can't quite talk about yet, but where languages that DeepL supports, and we're like, okay, that's one piece that we don't have to worry about.
That's great.
Which is great.
Yeah, really good to have you here, Jodi. I think it's one thing to talk about technology, but I think hearing what impact it actually has and how it helps is really impactful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much. So let's get back to something, or let's get to something that I'm sure everyone is super excited about. I mean, we certainly are. Leo, are we good
Let's go.
on the tech side?
Let's go.
So let's have a meeting with one of our colleagues, Christina. She's part of the research team and has been heavily involved in building DeepL Voice. So let's see, Christina, are you here?
Hallo zusammen, ich bin hier. Zuerst möchte ich klarstellen, dass
Hello
das, was
everyone,
Sie da
I'm
hören, eine
here.
Übersetzung ist. Ich spreche Deutsch.
First, I want to
Jedes
make
Wort,
it
jede
clear that
Redewendung,
what you are
alles, was Sie
hearing
hören,
right now
kommt in
is a
Echtzeit
translation.
über DeepL Voice.
I speak
Ich bin
German. Every
super
word,
gespannt
every
auf diese
phrase,
Demo.
everything you
Das
hear
Voice
is coming in
Research
real
und
time through
Engineering Team
DeepL
hat
Voice.
unheimlich
I'm
viel
super
Arbeit in die
excited
Entwicklung
about this
dieser
demo.
Technologie gesteckt. Heute
The
möchten wir
voice
Ihnen einen
research and
ersten
engineering
Eindruck
team have
ermöglichen,
done
was wir
an
geschafft
incredible
haben.
amount of work to develop this technology. Today, I would like to give you a first impression of what we have achieved.
So Christina's actually backstage. You probably have seen her around, or if not, you can see her later as well. So Christina, I know there was many highlights that you had as a team building this. What was the most fun part?
Das Coolste war, alle Teile zusammenzustecken und zu sehen, wie das Ganze zum Leben erwacht.
The coolest
Ich erinnere mich
thing
an den
was that
Test des
all the
ersten
parts
Text des
could be
Speech-Modells,
plugged
das wir
together
entwickelt haben.
and seeing
Zu
how the
hören, wie
whole
natürlich
thing
die
came
künstlich
to
erzeugte
life.
Sprache
I
kam, war
remember
einfach
testing the
fantastisch.
first
Und
text-to-speech
die
model
Ergebnisse
we
waren
trained.
manchmal auch ziemlich
Hearing how
lustig.
natural
Zum
the
Beispiel,
artificially
als wir mit
generated
verschiedenen Akzenten
speech sounded
herumprobiert
was
haben.
simply
Für diese
fantastic.
Demo mussten wir noch einen Trade-off machen
And
zwischen
the results were
Natürlichkeit
sometimes
und
quite funny,
Zuverlässigkeit.
too.
Die nächsten Versionen werden hier
For
weitere
example, when we tried
Verbesserungen
out different accents, for this demo, we still had to make a trade-off between naturalness and reliability. The next versions will bring further improvements in this area.
Very exciting. So with every breakthrough as a team, there's always a challenge as well. What was the most difficult part so far?
Oh, keine Frage. Die flüssige Sprachausgabe in Echtzeit. Sie erleben hier und heute, wie
No
wir uns
question, the
dieses
fluent
Produkt
speech
vorgestellt haben.
output in real
Das soll
time.
Kommunikation in Echtzeit
Here
ermöglichen.
and now,
Und
you can
das bringt viele
experience how we
Herausforderungen mit
envisioned
sich.
this
Wir
product.
müssen
It is
sicherstellen,
intended to
dass die
enable real-time
Sprachausgabe
communication,
flüssig klingt
and that
und mit
brings
der
with it
Sprechweise der
many
Menschen
challenges.
Schritt hält.
We have to
Wenn jemand
ensure
sehr
that
schnell
speech
spricht,
output sounds
sollte sich das
fluent and matches the way
Text-to-Speech-Modell
people
anpassen,
speak.
um nicht den
If
Anschluss
someone
zu verlieren.
speaks very
Und wenn jemand
quickly, that
langsam
should be
spricht,
reflected
sollten wir uns
in the
ebenfalls
text-to-speech
anpassen,
model
damit
so
das
that it
Ergebnis
doesn't
nicht
lose track.
abgehackt klingt.
And when
Insgesamt
someone
lag
speaks
unser
slowly,
Fokus
we should
für
also
der
adapt
Entwicklung
so
darauf,
that the
einen
result
natürlichen
doesn't sound
Gesprächsfluss zu
choppy.
unterstützen.
Overall, our focus during development was on achieving a natural flow of conversation.
So can you give us a sneak peek into where voice is headed next?
Wir arbeiten schon an der Entwicklung der Voice API. Und hier wird es richtig spannend. Mit der API
We are
beschränkt
already
sich
working
DeepL
on the
Voice nicht auf
development
Teams
of the
oder
Voice
Zoom, sondern
API, and
integriert
here
sich
is where it
direkt
gets
in die
really
Tools und
exciting with the
Umgebungen, mit denen
API
täglich
limited to
kommuniziert wird.
DeepL Voice, not just to
Denken Sie
Teams
an
or
große
Zoom, but
BPOs.
integrating
Das steht
directly
für
into the
Business
tools
Process
and environment
Outsourcing
in which you
Unternehmen.
communicate on a
Dabei
daily
handelt es sich um
basis.
The idea is that we want to bring it with our API, so you can really embed that voice-to-voice, end-to-end, in many workflows. You can embed it into your application layers. You can embed it into workflows worldwide. Any global business will have many of those needs across the chain. Now, our first use case that we're really zeroing down is customer support. Imagine this. Across the globe, to talk to your customers, to converse within their original languages, but also making sure that your customer support team is linking the best experts you have on the field with the customers in their native languages, both sides. This is a massive enabler that allows you to have your best experts connecting with your customers. Means ultimately better customer support, much higher quality of your customer support, and just customers feeling overall better cared for. And that's really what we're aiming with. We're already piloting that very API with a few selected customers in BPO use cases and call center automation. And this will be available early next year for a much broader audience, so you can try it.
So we talked about DeepL Voice for meetings that helps you in those virtual meetings. We talked about DeepL Voice for conversations, which translates in real time in your in-person interactions. We got the sneak peek of voice to voice, and now Leo just told you about the API as well. What we haven't talked about, but we have heard it in the previous session, is the importance of customization, right? So every industry, every company have in their own language. And that, of course, is also relevant for voice. And so with that, features like glossary, for example, will also be available for voice, in addition to customization features that are very specific to spoken language, so that we can make sure that your voice and language comes through in every conversation.
Now, that customization layer, all it is really is about quality, right? We want to ensure that you have the highest quality, and you need to customize for that. But on top of that, we also keep investing on the baseline quality for our voice models across the board. So all the languages we already have, we keep on improving that quality for both latency and the quality bar. And also, we keep on expanding the language offering. So we hear you, we're constantly talking, and we basically prioritize the languages that you have the most need for. This year already expanded into Asian languages with Chinese, Korean. Within Europe, we expanded with Romanian, Ukrainian, many others. And next year, we're going to be even more bullish to expand much faster for the languages that you need.
Yeah, and with that, we've built DeepL Voice to really help for those in-the-moment communications or in-the-moment, conversations that you have. Because, when you have a negotiation, you can't just rewind in the moment, right? Or if you have a global meeting, you can't just quickly stop and try and realign everyone. And so you have everyone on the same page, you have that trust, and that is really why DeepL Voice exists.
Exactly. So we're super excited about what is to come. What we just showed to you is really just the beginning. This technology only gets better, and we're also learning all together with you here, like how we build that future. But we believe that's a much brighter, much better future for us, our customers, our partners all together. So I would love to talk much more to you all here. We have our demo booth for voice, for customization, for other features as well. The team's there, including Christina, that was here backstage. So please come by. Let's have a conversation, maybe in our native languages, and test the product out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.